This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Javier Baez, are you kidding me? What a night, and welcome into a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma, and this is the Locked On Tigers Postcast, and boy, do we have a lot to get into. I'm going to try to contain the excitement, but no promises. Javier Baez. I mean, my goodness. Hand up, I owe him an apology. We all owe him an apology because the resurgence, the resurrection, we're going to get into all of that. But Javier Baez walks off the Boston Red Sox. What a night. The Tigers win this one 10-9. It was a gritty win. They found a way. So we'll have my talking points, my turning point, and of course, our player of the game. As always, thanks so much for joining the live Locked On Tigers Postcast, your instant reaction show, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, on YouTube, it's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. Shout out to the everydayers that tune into both Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley, the deep dive on the daily, and your live reaction show with me, Jake Riepma, the Locked On Tigers Postcast. Now, buckle up and lots of comments to get into. We'll have that as well because I know it might be late night, but that's fine. When the Detroit Tigers come back, not once, but twice in extra innings, we got a lot to talk about. So let's get right into it. It's our talking point from tonight's 10-9 win over the Red Sox.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Well, I'll be talking about Javier Baez because 2 3-run dongs, as my good buddy Jeff Rieger likes to say, the dong variety, both no doubt abouters. And the second one, he pimps a walk-off. And just imagine for a second the conversation we would be having even less than 3 months ago, whatever it may be. Anytime Javier Baez has been a part of the Detroit Tigers, imagine having a conversation about a 2-home-run night, 6 RBI, walk-off, 3-run bomb, Javier Baez night. I mean, I, for the life of me, and try to be one of the more positive people, could never in a million years have imagined this in 2025 for Javier Baez. He's become arguably the Tigers' best player, and the confidence is building with each and every at-bat, and he's getting back to, dare I say, that all-star caliber player that the Tigers made the big splash to get for him to bring him in from New York. And again, the comments are filling up, but I wanted to get the first word in that Javier Baez has turned the corner. And this is going to be one of those stories that is studied in sports because this is a guy that was down and out. The city had turned on him. I had turned on him. We all had because the production wasn't there. And for him to somehow, some way turn around in 2025, years later, and put together this type of first half of the season, it's just what sports are all about. Resiliency, grittiness. And listen, I know there's a lot of experts on Twitter. I see Rieger deal with them all the time. My good buddy Jeff Rieger. I don't have to deal with as much, but nobody saw this coming. And if you did, you're probably lying. If you say, yeah, I knew Javier Baez was going to, be one of our best hitters, slashing whatever he is, and the OPS above 850 and the batting average as high as it is. I knew it. I don't think anybody did. So just a humble salute to Javier Baez for the turnaround that he's had. And he helped the Tigers get it done tonight, 10-9 over the Red Sox. With the win, the Tigers continue that tear at home. Despite losing 2 of 3 to the Rangers at home over the weekend, they are still 16-5 at Comerica Park. The home field advantage is alive and well. And one more note on the Javier Baez walk-off home run. Listen to the call from both Jason Benetti and Dan Dickerson. They were both phenomenal. We are so lucky to have such great announcers here in the city of Detroit. Let's get to your comments, and there's a lot to get into. Mark leads us off with incredible win. The dude says, El Mago, All-Star 2025, Scooble bringing the broom for Game 3. Absolutely. We're going to get into that in the second part of the program. We absolutely have an opportunity for a sweep with Tarek Scooble on the mound, things you'll love to see. Prester says kind of what I was saying. Imagine telling someone 2 months ago that center fielder Javi Baez would be the best hitter on this team in mid-May. That's right. I didn't even get into that. Center fielder. We're talking about center fielder Javi Baez doing whatever it takes to help this team win. This really is the Javi Baez appreciation show because, man, he brought it tonight. He's been bringing it all season. And one other note, though, the Trey Sweeney RBI single in the 10th, that Tigers down to their last out, back against the wall, and Trey Sweeney finds a way to single home Zach McKinstry. I'm watching that, screaming at the TV, and it was close play at the plate, but high throw, and McKinstry slides in safely. You love to see it, and I felt like at that moment that the Tigers would somehow, some way, find a way to win this game. But that's why baseball is so crazy, because you go then to the 11th, and the Campbell home run brings in 2, making it 9-7. You're thinking, how is this going to work? And that's when Javi Baez says, not to worry, I got us covered. All right, a couple other people want to get in on the comments. Fishing with Shredder says, we had that game the whole way. Never a doubt in my mind that they were going to walk it off. LOL. Don't forget about Sweeney keeping it going for Javi to get that homer. Let's go, boys. Absolutely. Demetrius McNeil says, I can't wait for Mark DeRosa to have something to say about Javier Baez tomorrow on MLB Central on the MLB Network. There you go. It's about time the Tigers get some respect. I mean, the best team in the American League, and yeah, a little bit of a surprise series lost over the weekend to the Rangers, who had been struggling, but the resiliency, I've used that word a couple of times, but the way they bounced back in the home series against the Boston Red Sox shows what this team is made of. So 2 straight wins and a chance to go for the sweep tomorrow. All right, Gary Myers checking in. My main man, Gary Myers, says, Jake, I love it. All right. We got a lot going on in the comments, and I apologize. I wish I had a producer to funnel some of these comments into me. Ryan Caro says, we won 14-2 yesterday and walk it off today. I've never been more excited to watch baseball, and I look forward to these games every day. That's right. And a night game tomorrow, even though it's the finale of the 3-game series. So it's still a night game tomorrow. We'll be on the air after that. Cameron Schneider says, can't beat it, baby. There you go. No doubt about it. Braylon Dennis says, put some respect on Javi Baez. There you go. Awesome. And Voiding says, the catcher didn't even watch it. Yeah, exactly. It was, like I said, he could pimp it. He knew it was gone, and that's what it's all about. All right. Let's see. Joey Shea says, feels like when the team is winning, he doesn't feel the pressure of that contract. When they were losing, he sucked because he had all the eyes on him. Now that they're good, he's just playing baseball. Well, that's what a lot of it's about. It's just about playing baseball, and this team is playing great baseball, and Javi Baez is playing with a lot of confidence. And it wasn't just Javi Baez tonight. Let's run through this really quick because, again, the offense was alive and well. Riley Green made a nice play defensively. Pitching needs to be better. Obviously, it was Holton to open. Montero, I still, the 3 earned runs. He did strike out 3 and 3 1/3. But he wasn't his best tonight. And then, it wasn't. It was a day where the bullpen had a tall task and a lot of innings to eat up. But I mean, that was surprising from Canely. He got knocked around, of course, for the earned run there, and Will Vest as well. But nonetheless, the Tigers find a way to outlast the Boston Red Sox for the win. All right, we're going to keep this momentum going because we got our player of the game to get to, which one guess on that one. We've also got our turning point. I guess it's the show sometimes writes itself, boys and girls. The show writes itself, boys and girls. So let's take a quick break and be back in just a moment. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And listen up and listen good because the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's game-winning shots or even a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. How many times do I tell you that? It's never been a better time to get in on the action. Right now, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off. And live while the game's going on. You got player props, performance trends, and same game parlays. Another day, another parlay. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you're like me, try to get a beat on what it would look like to combine some live props into a little same game parlay mid-game based on how the action unfolds. Get a good beat on it there. Or if you've got a read on what individuals heating up, back it up with the same game parlay. That's right, because right now, new customers get a $200 bonus in bets if your first $5 bet wins. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head over to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, more comments to get into, and we'll start with some negatives because you know what? The Tigers are the best team in the American League, just had a walk-off win, and we still got some people unhappy, which I understand. Billy Bob really disliked Hinch's choice to take out Holton so soon. Yeah, listen, I learned the hard way. If you question AJ Hinch, he does not like that. So I've had my instance in the clubhouse where I probably asked the wrong question, and that comes with the territory. And AJ, just told me what he thought and kind of put me in my place, and that was that. So I understand that he is a manager of conviction and believes in what he's doing, and largely has been very, very successful. I think we can all agree with that, and that the majority of his bold moves pay off, and he's one of the best managers in all of baseball. In fact, a lot of my Texas Rangers buddies will tell me how great of a manager AJ Hinch is, even though they can't stand him for his time with the Houston Astros. And it's a guy that certainly is well respected from a baseball mind perspective throughout the course of the league. All right. That being said, all right. Couple other ones. Gary Myers, glad Torque hit a bomb. Face it, he's a career 240, 250 hitter, but if he can keep up the walks and cut down on strikeouts and hit 30 plus 100 home or RBI each year, I'm happy. Yeah, I think that's what we root for with Spencer Torkelson. I've mentioned this before, but I got a really good buddy who's on the Spencer Torkelson home run tracker. So every time he goes deep, that's because this buddy called 30 home runs before the season started, and he was well on his way. And obviously, with the way Spencer Torkelson's production has, I wouldn't say dipped, but certainly he's leveled off in the case that he's come back down to earth a little bit. But you're right. The opposite field power is still there. I mean, he goes Oppo Taco tonight and continues to add to the power numbers, where now you look at his stats for Spencer Torkelson, and I believe that was his 34th run batted in for Spencer Torkelson, and his 11th home run of the season. So there you have it. And that being said, this buddy called 35 home runs. So we count down from 35. So with 11, he's got 24 more to get. All right. Good stuff there. And let's get into our talking point. No, we already covered that, Jake. We don't need to do the talking point. We got to do the turning point. How many points are there?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Listen, the Javi Baez walk-off is the exclamation point, but the turning point where the game was extended, what a clutch hit from Trey Sweeney. I talked about it briefly, but worth reiterating, scoring Zach McKinstry when the Tigers' backs were literally against the wall, down to their final out. And Trey Sweeney finds a way to muscle that ball into right field, allowing McKinstry to score. And it speaks to what this team is made of. I know I'll say it till I'm blue in the face that this is a team that never quits, and I think we can all agree with that. Let's get to our player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It's Javi Baez. Of course, it's Javi Baez. Javi Baez. I know on what the morning show on 97.1 The Ticket, my buddy Costa and Jansen were calling him Javier Baez, right? Javier Baez or Haver Baez, whatever it is. I love it. He's really reinvented himself, and it couldn't come at a better time because this team is leaning in on him, and he truly is performing like a superstar. And again, we'll just run through the final box score for Javier Baez because it's worth repeating. And again, center fielder Javier Baez, but 2 home runs tonight, 6 RBI, first multi-home run game as a Tiger. I got to double check that. Someone texted that to me. I believe that's true. But my goodness, drew a walk as well, scored 3 runs. What can't this man do? And again, whatever the team asks him, he's even playing center field. That's just amazing stuff. Now, tomorrow's game, Tarik Skubal goes for the Detroit Tigers, looking for a sweep. And wouldn't that be nice to sweep the Boston Red Sox out of town? Because listen, I know the Red Sox are hovering around 500 right now, but this is a team that's got a roster built to sustain the ebbs and flows of a season. And I think, when we're in September and nearing the end of the regular season, they'll be a part of the conversation. Hunter Dobbins for the Red Sox, Tarik Skubal for your Detroit Tigers, and of course 6:40 first pitch, as I mentioned. Looking forward to chatting after that one. But wow, what a rush, what a game tonight. Sorry I couldn't get to every single comment, but I appreciate everybody staying up late and tuning into the live show. It's always a good time to chat. This is a good note from Cameron Schneider to end on it. 9 everyday players over 700 OPS, 4 over 800. We are so back. Listen, it's a balanced team. There is no doubt about it. Yes, good one here. I should have mentioned it earlier. If Jace Young doesn't get on, Baez only ties the game. Big game for Jace as well, which you love to see. Hopefully he can start to turn the corner, because obviously we're all rooting for that despite the some of the struggles early on for the youngster Jace Young. All right. Everybody get some sleep. Try to get some sleep. It's going to be tough, but I appreciate everyone tuning in. It's always a pleasure to be on the air. Check out the Daily Show with Scott Bentley. And if you haven't yet, like and subscribe, because why wouldn't you? I mean, this is a channel on YouTube, free and available, wherever you get your podcast, that brings you a deep dive every single day with Scott Bentley. If you've listened to it once, you've listened to it twice or 100 times, it's can't miss content. Plus, you got a live instant reaction show with me, the idiot, just screaming after games after Javier Baez walks off the Boston Red Sox with a 6 RBI night. So we come at the Tigers coverage from every single angle, and what a time, because this is the best team in the American League. And that being said, so much pride in watching this team develop, grow, and become the gritty Tigers, because we all know it did not happen overnight, I should say. We can all remember watching Nico Goodrum and that era of Detroit Tigers. I won't even go down that path, but I don't know why he popped into my head just now. But that being said, hey, what a fun season it's been so far, and we're just getting started here on May 13th. Javier Baez, the walk-off winner. Tigers beat the Red Sox 10-9. They go for the series sweep tomorrow. We'll be with you then on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Until then, have a wonderful night. See you next time.